Okay, I'm back now. Please enter the current time. Hang on. Before we get started, can I just say something? Thank you for actually setting the clock both times you've booted up the game. A lot of people don't take that step seriously. They just leave the clock set at 12 o'clock and call it a day. Well, I don't. But you're actually taking the time to set the clock, and I appreciate that. That's how I know that you care about this experience. You're paying attention. Just checking I wasn't muted. Something about I'm correct. Tell you what. Oh, yeah. I don't even know if the time you're setting is correct. And tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game and see the screen, just set the clock to your favourite time. Go ahead, pick whatever time you want. Even if it's not the correct time, you've earned it. Alright, I'll let you get back to the video game now. Begin the game.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
That's different.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. And he pushed buttons on a keyboard.
I might as well make it the same as my Twitter.
Desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month, every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Oh, actually... I forgot to turn my downloads off, fuck's sake.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one
if I stopped streaming and
had arrived on the monitor
the download was still going, and that probably
no
fucked
one had
up.
showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Got a trophy.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Did I? I did not.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically
the
behind
fuck?
him wherever he went?
When did this
And for that
happen?
matter, these rooms were
the
starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley
Stanley
said to
just never
himself,
looked
this is all
unlucky?
too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to
In
himself,
this economy?
I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner.
I should have known
Why
way
is
better.
there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was
No,
not
they
a
can't
dream.
afford it.
How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself?
They have to have
Stanley is as
non-union
awake
voice
right
actors
now
in their
as he's
heads.
ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else? He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal.
My island is
Everything will be
normal.
fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
That new content wasn't here before. So, yeah, spoilers for a Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe new content. If you don't want to see it.
New content? What does that mean, new content?
I don't.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
More like nude content.
As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022
That's how it works,
with the
isn't it?
Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for
Pretty sure that's
consoles
how it
and
works.
home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the
More
world
game,
over.
but I love more game.
Please step
Best
inside
friends
and
with
see
more
what
game.
thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable
Friendship
Ultra
over with old
Deluxe.
content.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content. Okay, so far it's
I've heard
elevator.
good reviews about this
Nothing
new
special
content.
yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure. Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, there we
this
go.
is a load-bearing
finally,
elevator.
at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it. I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if the... Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
Yeah, so at the start, I said that I had not played the game before, which means that the new content shows up a bit later. Which is...
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle?
Okay, okay. Oh no. My jumps. My precious jumps. The jumping makes me feel alive. It's the best game ever. Yeah, I don't think
Is that it?
some elements
Surely
of
that's not all
other
the new
games
content.
perhaps I
There has
don't
to be
like those.
something else, right? Goodness, another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content,
You get
then
your
I could
pay
just
rise.
read you the whole dictionary.
it.
There's 20
I
hours of new
believe in you.
content right there. Hell, I could counter 30
Always
trillion.
have.
You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And if... Oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
No, jump button does nothing.
That's it? Oh,
I
you've got
could
to
jump.
be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's trophies, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test trophy, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter
Yep, test
and hold
trophy,
them
please ignore.
personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
Are we friends? All right. Huh?
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! I want to show you something! Oh, you don't want to see the cool surprise I made for you? Well, fine. You're a dork anyway, so who cares?
Did you just neg me? I don't respond to negging.
Oh, never mind. You're not a dork.
That's it. Precious, precious validation. Tastes so sweet.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past, and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So
Is
I
this
made something
fascism?
special and tucked
You
it
have
away
to tell
here
me
where
if
the
this is
game's
fascism.
developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look. I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap PlayStation port?
It was
Remember
not
back in
that
October
cheap,
of 2013,
although it was
when the game
slightly on
originally
sale.
launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
I don't remember if I voted for Steam Greenlight. Maybe I did. I think I did. But it's right there. I can almost touch it. Delicious achievement. Yeah, I got that one legit. And the one now is like seriously go outside or something, which is 10 years. So I am in the process of getting that. I may not get that. Like, society may collapse before I can get that achievement. There's a very real
And over
possibility.
here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's
It's
how
like she's
grand
right here
and
in the room with me.
all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable
what game
anymore.
was it?
It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
it was... oh, of course, it was everything. The game Everything, that's what it was. Where did you do that? Or is that a joke? I don't know. I'm scared.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some
I
of the
have
most
no memory of
enjoyable,
this place.
surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game, all they had to do was transport it in
This is new
pristine
content.
condition along to the PlayStation. Boom, done. And they couldn't even do that. Couldn't resist the urge to go meddling with their beloved franchise.
We won't go to a serious room, it's a silly place.
These were simpler times, Stanley. What I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here?
To have it again.
Oh no, oh God, no, Stanley. It's a collection of reviews from Pressurized
Theme.
Gas, the extremely popular online storefront for computer games. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
It actually says Steam in the Steam version.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving
If
to be
you
more
couldn't play this
irritating than
game to full
entertaining.
completion, that's on you.
Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
What?
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me.
The line was the
I
best
always,
part
well,
about
to be
it.
honest, I had always thought of the game's
don't know what you're
dialogue
talking
as
about.
being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did, but maybe it wasn't. Oh dear, what an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure, like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
I think that when I played this the first time, I thought it was that about you.
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
My favourite thing about Rock Paper Shotgun was that they had this like sort of quiz show, which was mystery Steam reviews, where they'd each like pick 3 games and get a Steam review of that game, and the other one would have to guess what the game was from the Steam review, and it was amazing. But
and here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped
there's like
right
a playlist
past it.
with them.
It's what the players have been
It's pretty
asking
good.
for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No. The Stanley
I think I still haven't
is a game
watched
for
the last
people.
episode.
And if the people want silence,
so
then by goodness, that's what
sad
they're going to
about the
get.
thing,
Well, don't
like,
sit around waiting for me
finishing.
to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue, and it goes something like this. The story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore, by becoming it is, so on and so
They
forth,
did
until
it as
inevitably
like
we all
a
until
mock,
the end
like,
of time.
Who Wants
at
to Be a
which time
Millionaire? So
everything
they'd both
all
be
at
going,
once. So,
well,
now you
Chris,
see, blah, 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 blah,
well,
blah,
Chris.
blah, 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 blah. You've eaten too much and it can't
so
be just yet. No, until
I feel like you could probably
245.
like
But the logic of elimination working backwards,
take
the
the-
deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back,
Fuck's
and
sake.
never a moment before lunchtime.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say that they did the like format of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So yeah, when the one who was guessing would keep like saying, "Well, Chris," and they do Chris Tarrant impressions. So I think you could probably take the bare bones of that format, and they couldn't really say that. Well, for one thing, the thing doesn't really exist anymore. But yeah, so I do it, please do it. I dare you to do it.
Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations
Yes.
on the nature of choice in video games.
Anyway, I don't care about choice
Well,
in video
there's
games.
sport.
So
You
what-
really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But
I've
that's
already
the
watched
power of the button.
the,
The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their pressurized gas review, or at least change some of the wording, perhaps. To be honest, I don't even know if one can change their review in the first place.
Well, I can't remember the like games like presentation name of a thing, but yeah, I've already watched William Hughes like presentation about choice in video games, so I don't need to hear the narrator
Guess
say
I
it.
should become better educated on how exactly...
So skip.
Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not... Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been
That's it.
frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone. I've looked at it from every
That is
angle.
news to
I've
me.
checked every one of those
So
walls
that is a fun
1,000
fact.
times, and there's no door, Stanley. There's no door. There's just you and the button, and if you keep pressing it, I
I
have
would
no
assume that
idea
you
what
are
will
not,
happen. I
without
have no
any
idea how long I'll be
confirmation
made to
or
sit here, and
any
more than anything
corroborating
else, I don't know how to
evidence.
stop you from pressing the button again. Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me
Who would do
talking,
such a thing?
and you saying nothing. Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time. I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me
Which is all
describe it
entirely
for
new
you.
to me, but
To begin
yes, I
with,
believe
there is
that.
only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time, Stanley.
So he just
Days,
assumed
months.
that
I lost it all in a blur of the deepest longing to undo the past. And when
I
that
know.
feeling had begun to subside, what took its place is what I can only describe as the collapse of every moment I have ever experienced my entire life. All of them collapsed down into a single instant. In that
I
instant,
was trying
I
not to
could see
admit it.
myself clearly, calmly, with a collected heart. It was an impossibly rich wellspring of both delight and disgust simultaneously. I was consumed by it. I could do nothing but wallow in it for what felt like an eternity, for what I...
Oh, you should have told him to do shots.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's
I
talking
gave
too
this a
much.
thumbs
They said,
up.
first, he
So
didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the
not
inconsistency,
all
it's the lack of accountability, it's the
pressurized
unwillingness
gas
to examine with an
reviewers. I think I even recommended it on my curator page, which exists for no real reason.
The end is never the end, is
It's
never
never
the
the
end, is
end,
never
it's
the
never the
end, is
end,
never
it's
the
never the
end, is
end,
never
it's
the
never the
end, is never
end,
the
it's never the
end,
end, it's never the end, it's never the end, it's never the end, it's never the end. Also, you are a boss. In every sense. I mean, except in a sense that I wouldn't try to defeat you in any form of combat. And unless you're kind of a boss where there's like a persuasion option to avoid. Yeah, but have you seen me? I'm fucking rubbish. What if I could leave all this time and I just didn't look behind me? I don't see Rey saying which he's Rey Skywalker, so I can only assume it's not Tatooine.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
New content?
Oh, good. You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show
Good
you.
because it's new nude content, but...
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this Ultra Deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this Ultra Deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is
Ultra
why
Deluxe.
I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley Parable 2. Yes,
The
you
end
see,
is never the
isn't
end.
this far superior to a
Again.
measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
They're back. 2 doors. The Stanley Parable 2.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development
That's
is
how
much
I write
more of a
fiction.
fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really. Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features. Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
I just did. I literally just took a screenshot. Okay, get well someday. Yeah, I think it's just to make you think that. Happy birthday, 12th stepniece.
Which one you actually really wanted all along?
Get well.
Happy 12th birthday, stepniece, it is.
Oh, happy 12th birthday, stepniece, I guess.
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
I have taken so many screenshots here that I've filled my hard disk. Oh, trophies. I love them. Lever, receive trophy. No more steps.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test trophy that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the trophy. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the trophy will be given to you. It's as simple as that.
I mean, how? He wouldn't have audio.
Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the trophy is still fully broken.
Like
I'm not a wizard,
self-driving
Stanley,
cars.
but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will
Gamers rise up. Yes. You're either a gamer or a loaf of bread, and you must rise. It doesn't. It's broken.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Oh, dicks.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
I've always been a fan of numbers go up. I've got it.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Yeah, I want money. Money now. Yeah, that's the exit. He doesn't know. Oh, it actually stopped me taking a screenshot here. Oh no, it didn't. It just had like phone interference and noise. The button that says the name of a player that is playing the game. Hear your name in the game.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim, watching your dreams crumble into dust.
No,
do you feel
Jim
it
doesn't
deeply?
like that.
Are you really, truly Jim right now? If so, then please step forward and press the button.
Yes, I am Jim. I encompass all of Jim. Yes.
Yes, you see? What a thrill, what a rush. That was you. The button described
Yes,
you. Do it again,
I was
do it again.
Jim.
Jim.
It hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money.
It'll be
Let's
worth
take
more
a break from
money.
the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
No, I want Jim.
Whoa there,
I am
cowboy.
Jim.
Sometimes a person can be too much Jim.
No,
I'm
I
putting the
am
Jim button
Jim.
away.
I cannot.
Otherwise, soon you'll start to lose all sense of who you actually are.
No, I like being Jim. No, I don't want to go back to the old the me that is me. I want to be Jim. I like being Jim.
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
I Jimmed as a Jim, and I Jimmed as a Jim. No, I do not do that. I don't.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was
Jim
that it was
no
confusing
more.
and
I am
paradoxical,
Jimless.
that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Oh yeah, that feels good. Yeah.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2. Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
The button that says Jim. I missed that button.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it would go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Is that time cube?
Truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
I think you can already get games with infinite hole.
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue on. Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top.
Hurry up and bus it.
Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
Why were you hiding? Petition to reach the bottom of the infinite hole.
Stanley. I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole.
Okay.
I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Well, maybe you're the problem.
I needed...
Look,
things
got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready. Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
Psych.
Oh, for heaven. You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time.
You don't
need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time?
New
I
mug.
couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before.
New mug tent.
Admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole...
You know what this is? You put in an infinite hole, but you've got enough by one error. That's what you've done.
Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. I really do have so much more to show you and to talk about, and I've had enough of the hole for a lifetime.
I will not go back in the hole. Not.
Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow. Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's
Yeah,
going on here?
in
Stanley,
terms of
I
depth,
have
this
no
is like
explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's
a
length.
Reddit post.
Let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter.
Not on hashtag no sleep.
Well, there it is. The shame of my lie has come to haunt me. Not only is the hole not infinite, but it's barely even a hole at this point. It's more of a concavity, or even a very aggressive divot.
Yeah, this is the depth of an Elon Musk tweet. And
How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this
again,
depth,
that's a
I just can't see
personal.
this scratching the itch.
I don't see how that's any of your business.
Who am I to judge? You just
Exactly.
do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on.
I am hitting a button.
Is the teleport button not working? You sure? Well, I mean,
Mr. Controller's
I really don't
new.
have an explanation. Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
No, stuck in the finite hole. The bottomed hole. Okay. This is just like hashtag House of Leaves. House is in blue. Well, I'm glad to have got the bucket. Well, yeah, the me looks like the other me. It's surprising. But I am Stanley. I think I was always Stanley, except when I was Jim. Okay.
Stanley? Stanley? Stanley! Oh, good, you're awake.
It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating
I
that I
dreamt
want you
that
to be
it
wide
was
awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So
the
how about if I
person
just
playing
pop
this
in from
game,
time to time
but
and wake
am
you up
actually
to keep you really,
Stanley.
truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodle-pip. Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features. You know what, Stanley? I actually think the jump circle was a pretty good idea. I'd like to hang on to that for the sequel.
I mean, I need to keep some jumps left, but I can't remember how to do it. By red. Ow. This will be quite boring, but you need to select every possible value for the settings, I think. And then I will be the settings world champion. fine. Oh. Oh, I think I might have missed this when I did this. First person shooter, second person shooter. Plasma rifle, Joe's favourite. Play of the game. Windows. Dot. Oh, gotta be Joe's favourite. Oh no, this is going to take such a long time. I think I need to collect figurines as well or something, I don't know. But this is where all the training of adjusting settings really pays off. Adjusting settings doesn't get tougher than this. Oh. It's script, it's sorted, let's adjust settings. It's entirely possible that I will not become a successful streamer. I accept this. Had to change fingers because why? Actually, we want it a bit bigger than that. Yeah. That was the one that caught me out last time, so I think my controller is dying because I've been adjusting settings too much. And even the PlayStation 5 cannot cope with that amount of adjusting settings. It's too much. You know, it's next gen because it's still not really out yet. as much as people who want to buy it would like, but it still cannot. Okay, switching to analog stick. Yeah, my controller is charging, so I don't know what's... Maybe I'm too good at adjusting settings and game cannot cope with well, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Also, thank you for not saying I took out a garbage bag and there you were. I don't know. Okay, so turn that off. But we're keeping reticule. Actually, maybe whack up to 269. Oh God. There's a very real possibility that I have to switch dual sensors to continue. Yeah, the reason I got two of them is because that was the only way I could get a PS5. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. I think it is input buffering or whatever. Obviously, I should have looked up speedrun strats of this before I attempted to become settings world champion. Undefeated. I'm becoming settings world champion because I cannot enter this tour because I am not yet settings world champion. Why did you even ask, is this a real trophy? What possessed you? I'm gonna have to do this one again because I can't remember if I did it or not. Or actually, yeah, I did do it. For fuck's sake. I am not fit to be settings world champion. I renounce. Yeah, you should have, but you didn't. I don't think you should forget that. Never doubt me again, except for the many times that you should doubt me, which is pretty much every time that I say something which you have not previously heard someone else tell you is true, because it's me. But I will become... Yay! Popped! Yay! Played for and got. Pro strats. Yeah, and I've got my reticule. Yeah, I think I need to collect all the collectibles first or something. Wait, I didn't open, did it? Only the select view.
You've experienced every setting, traveled to all corners of the settings menu. There's nothing you haven't seen. So just for you, in the Stanley Parable 2, I'm including an entirely new setting. Something called bumpscosity. What exactly is bumpscosity? Well, I haven't quite figured that part out yet, but I know that you'll be able to adjust it on some sort of slider, and that it'll be accessible from the settings menu. We'll sort out the rest of the details later. I'm looking forward to trying out every level of bumpscosity in the Stanley Parable 2.
I love that I've played this game already, and this is stuff that I haven't seen before. Love it. Look, that's my trophy. Look, I got that. Settings World Champion. What? Yeah, but I've got this trophy. Well, this achievement, if I'm allowed to say that. Hold on, I will just take a screenshot. Yay! Oh, I don't know if... Oh. Thank you. That is literally what makes it worth it. Yeah, and like the bit with like gym button. If you don't actually become Jim, if you just press the gym button, he gets mad at you for not getting into the character of Jim and really experiencing it as Jim, and he takes it away from you. Oh no! What? Oh, it's the button that tells you that you are Jim. Oh, for fuck's sake. It's... I think it's... must... I mean, it says I'm still broadcasting, so I... I think I'm jump. Yeah, I'm watching myself now. So I don't know what happened. Yeah, there's the Jim button that tells you that you're Jim. Because the technology to tell you that you are the player playing this game isn't quite all there. So he tells you to inhabit the character of Jim, and if you do it, if you wait.
Right. Have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
Yeah, if you wait, then he lets you do it like a couple of times when he takes the button away. But if you just do it immediately, then he takes the button away because you weren't Jim. So the button that tells you that you are Jim would, in that case, was meaningless.
Oh.
And congrats on the boss. I believed in you, as I have said many times.
So,
Screenshot.
What do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet
I mean, some
how
of them.
exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely
Oh no!
a good
Oh
game in
no!
there somewhere. So
Oh no!
let's do an experiment.
I'm scared.
I'll arrange these new features together,
No,
and we'll see whether or
no.
not it coheres into a meaningful
I don't like
gameplay
that.
experience.
I don't like you understanding my stories.
Okay.
I'm
Are
not
you
used
ready?
to it, and it's
Here it
scary
is.
and
I
frightening.
give you the Stanley Parable 2. Well, I mean, there's potential here.
Game
right?
development
It's
is my
sort
passion.
of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything.
Work for Jazzpunk.
I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect.
Tasteful new
With care for the
features.
vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2." Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
I think I will stop there when we've just started the Stanley Parable 2. I do not know what Super Bernie World is, but I hope it's about Bernie Sanders, because that is a world that would be super. Yeah, so if you were Ollie, then thank you for watching the stream. And if you were someone who, for some reason, wasn't Ollie who was watching the stream, then thank you as well. Yeah. I think I had audio on my mic, so that was qualified success. So, stopping stream now.